All right, let's talk about C++ strings. So I'm going to declare a string variable called name and initialize it right here. Now, as I told you, this type is defined in the standard library. So if you haven't included the standard namespace on the top, you need to qualify this with std : okay? Now, this type is a class or a wrapper around C strings. So internally, it uses a C string or a character array to hold this string literal, because that is the feature that is provided by C++ language itself. So C++ doesn't have types like string. It only has built-in types like int, float, character, character array, and so on. So this class internally uses a character array to hold this string. But the great thing about this class is that it hides all the complexity around character arrays. So we never have to worry about declaring an array that is large enough. We never have to worry about wasting memory. We don't have to worry about exceeding the boundary of the array and so on. All that complexity is taken care of inside this class. This is the same way smart pointers in the standard library improve raw pointers. So you learn that if we have a unique pointer of type int, internally this class holds an integer pointer. So we don't have to worry about working with a raw pointer. Instead, we use this class and all the complexity around raw pointers, like releasing them, is taken care of inside this class. So this is how the standard library improves the C++ language, okay? So here we have a string variable. Now, just like character arrays, we can access individual characters using an index. The index of the first element or the first character is 0. So I can change that to lowercase m and then print the result. Here's what we get. Now, instances of the string class, we call them string objects. Now, all these objects have a bunch of functions we can access using the dot operator. So if you type a dot, we can see all the functions implemented in this class. So here we have a function for getting the length of a string. So we can print this. We see 4, okay? Now we can easily concatenate or combine these strings. So instead of using strcat, we can take the name and append Hamadani to it and then store the result in name itself. Or we can simplify this code like this. So we can easily modify a string and the string class will take care of resizing the array to hold the result. So now if I print name, we see Mosh Hamadani, okay? Now, we can also easily copy strings, so we don't have to use the strcpy function. We can declare another string, and simply set it to name, exactly like how we work with integers or floats. Now, we can also easily compare string objects. So instead of using the strcmp function, we can write an expression like if name equals another, then print same. Take a look. There you go. We can also use other comparison operators. So let's set this to John. Now we can check to see if name is less than another. So alphabetically, John always comes first before Mosh. So this expression is false and we are never going to see something on the terminal. Take a look. There you go. So here we also have a few other useful functions. Let me delete this code. We have a function called starts with. With this, we can check to see if our string starts with a character or a string. So we can check to see if this starts with a lowercase m. Take a look. We see 0, which means false, right? Now, if we use an uppercase m here, we see true. There you go. We also have another function called ends with that obviously checks to see if our string ends with a character or a string. Another useful function is empty. This returns true if our string is empty. So right now, our string has 4 characters, so it's not empty. But if I remove all these characters, now we have an empty string, so we see 1 or true on the terminal. Another useful function is front, which returns the first character in the string. That is the m. And we have a similar function called back, which returns the last character in the string. So we don't have to worry about using indexes like name of name.length -1. This returns the last character, right? But it's much easier to use the back function, or more accurately, back method. We'll talk about methods in the next part of this course. So this is the basics of C++ strings. As you can see, they're much easier to work with, and they have a lot more features than basic C strings.